And okay, so you've got good and bad lawyers, you've got good and bad doctors, you've got good and bad everything. Now, what's the difference between the benefit of having a top quality customs agent, customs broker working for you, or one that's just in training? Like, what can a really good customs broker do for you that an average one can't?
I think what you're talking about is experience,
Yes.
basically, not good and bad so much as the experience. Someone that's, even though to get a broker's license you will have had to have a certain amount of experience and knowledge, obviously, but I think it's the experience as you work through a process. Like lawyers, they get their case studies and experience in different elements of the law, and the same applies in import-export, and so therefore customs brokers. So they have built up experience with the clients that they have, and it may be, particularly the chemical area, is quite a complex area. The tariff there has very complex classification systems. You need to be a chemist or have that chemistry background to be able to classify correctly. So there are specialty areas where a customs brokerage might become well known for that particular industry, and people tend to gravitate to that. Another way might be that dealing with certain countries, the freight forwarding section, organising the transport, sea freight, air freight, they might just develop a good expertise with that particular area. It might be like South America, for instance, a number of countries there. And so they build up that expertise in dealing with those countries, and once again that experience comes to the fore.
I got you. So they'll help you get goods in that you might not be able to get in. Like an inexperienced customs broker might have trouble actually filling out the paperwork or clearing it. And also when it comes to tariffs and duties, an experienced customs broker could probably show you how to classify it legally in a way that would be beneficial to you from a commercial perspective. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about the horror scenarios where things go wrong. Tell me an example, a case study you've probably seen a lot of them, where a container got detained. Like, what mistakes led to the container getting detained? What did it cost the person involved? Have you got any experience of where someone's fallen off even what percentage of times do you think things go well, and what percentage of times do you think there's an issue?
I don't think, when you look at the numbers of containers or even air shipments that come in, the problems are probably not great.
Less than 1%, right?
Probably, but if you're the 1% and you've got that problem, I can give you a few examples, and not necessarily straight customs, but they're involved in that process. One is, I can remember we had a client that was importing waste paper, and they also imported reels of newsprint from other countries, but this waste paper was coming from New Zealand, and they used to bring it in 20-foot containers. So they decided to use 40-foot containers, thinking, well, we'll get some economies of scale, one truck for 40-foot instead of 2 trucks for 220s. And this particular shipment went to Brisbane, and I organised it up there. But when it came off the wharf, they realised that the weight of the container was too heavy to go on the truck to be legal on their road infrastructure. There was weight limits. Wow. So what we had to do is get some single 20-foot containers in, unload waste paper, think about that.
That's difficult.
And bring it in and load the other containers up. Now, if it was, boxes of ping pong balls or, computers or something, not too bad, still a problem. Waste paper was just flying everywhere. So not only we had to repackage 2 containers from one 40-footer, we also had this huge cleaning bill because this waste paper went all over the place. So it was a disaster because the supplier assumed that this was doing a favour, but it ended up being very expensive.